Okay, hello. I prepared this scene, and we are gonna render it out as a video and as a PNG sequence, and then we will convert it to a video inside of Blender. So we go to the scenes, and down here you can choose your file format. You have a lot of image formats and some movie formats, and let's go for FFmpeg. And then you have the encoding here. We go for MP4, video codec is correct, medium quality, blah 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 blah. Like, actually all the stuff here is not very important for us right now. So we go up here, render, animation. One more thing. Always check that you have your modifiers on. Check up here that everything is turned on for renders if you want to render it. Yeah, render animation. And we have 240 frames, so this will take around 3 minutes. We exported the video, and here we have it. The name is the M for movie 001. This is the name I gave the file, and then we have frame 1 to 240. This is how Blender is naming your files. And we will see it's a perfect loop again, of course. Yeah. Now we will render the same thing, but as a PNG sequence. And I told you in the last session, this is important if we render big projects. Sometimes you have scenes where a single frame can take up to 30 minutes. So if we would stop the render process in the middle of the rendering of this MP4, the whole file would be corrupted and there would be no way of going back. So if you have bigger files, actually rendering out an MP4 directly is only for previews. I think for our course it's good enough, but for the future always try to export PNG sequence and then convert it later. This is probably the way to go. So we are down here, and properties again. This time we choose PNG. And because we're exporting a bunch of pictures, it's important to create a folder. And I called the video sequence, like the PNG sequence, will start with M002. And if we go down here, we see the file path. And if I go here before the file name, I can just type a folder name I want to create and separate it with a slash, and this will create a subfolder M in my tutorials 2 folder. Another important thing is that overwriting down here, that's sometimes ticked in by default. And what it does, if you have overwrite and, for example, you rendered already 50 pictures and you put this on 25, then it will keep the first 25 pictures, start rendering at frame 25 and overwrite the next 25 pictures. So sometimes you want this, sometimes don't. Pay attention. We will start rendering at 0. And let's go. So we finished rendering our images. We have our folder M, and inside the images we can make a video out of the image sequence directly in Blender, and we create a new workspace, video editing, and we add an image sequence. Navigate to your folder, select the first one, press A, and add image strip. Up here you could alternate the length, like here in the scene again. You can set the frame rate, but we're gonna leave everything as in the original render. And down here we choose FFmpeg. This is the same workflow as before. We use our MP4 codec. We have the H.264, medium quality is also okay, and then we just render animation. But instead of rendering the new images, he's doing the sequence render, which means he's transforming the image sequence to MP4. And you can see this is much faster than rendering the pictures.